Jackson trying to escape and run for it, and he's got it and more. Lamar Jackson down the sideline. Will they give it to him? They will. Touchdown, Baltimore.
And with 1:17 left to play on Wild Card Weekend, the Hayes in the barn.
Oh my God! I wish you guys could. I wish we had a camera in here so you could see what we're doing. We're just a bunch of clowns in here.
How much fun is that?
All right, welcome on back to another edition of the Baltimore Beatdown podcast. It is Friday, April 23rd. Friday rolling. The boys are here in the virtual studio, and Spenny is just emanating Friday vibes right now. This guy is just in one of the better moods that I've seen in a good long while, and he is just ready to party pod.
Couldn't be any more positivity radiating from me. My back is thrown out. I've had maybe 4 technological issues today. Jake recorded a lovely interview with a special guest, Mr. Anthony Averett. I was unable to participate because of technological issues. I am several volumes deep from my back being thrown out, and I'm still not chill. So that is how you know that I'm not chill. So we go to record just now, and that didn't go well because my laptop that I've had for maybe 7-8 months, the drivers don't detect the camera or the microphone or any cameras or any microphones for some reason. I had to spend a lot of time with Windows Assistant trying to get back into that. So it's just been an entire issue. So yeah, here we are. We're here. I am recording via Apple earbuds. Come standard with the iPhone, and that's what this has regressed to. So love you guys, and that's my rant. So now all positive vibes from here on out.
Yeah, glad you got that out of your system. But yeah, the technical issues, not really your fault on that interview. They weren't even really mine either, just kind of a weird setup that hopefully I'm going to remedy with some equipment upgrades within the next however long. But yeah, got a great interview at the end of the show with Mr. Anthony Averett. Ravens cornerback sat down with me for about 20 minutes or so to discuss all manner of things. Great guy, and I really appreciate his time. But before we get into that, we did have some final housekeeping that we wanted to do on the Beatdown Big Board segment that we put together. We obviously sat down with Voss the other night to add 4 names into the mix. And tonight, what we're trying to do basically is seed the bracket. So get our 1 seeds, our 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 for each side, and just kind of go from there.
Let's seed them. Let's reap the seeds.
What is the
seed of my loin?
What is the tweet? Me sowing. Oh, fuck yeah, this is awesome. Me reaping. Oh, wait a minute. No, what the fuck?
Yes, exactly.
That's an all-timer. But
that is
yeah.
an all-timer.
So got all that to get to. No news on the docket or anything. Nothing that we haven't touched on. Anyway, since the Liars Luncheon. So yeah, you got your rant out of the way. We got all that out of the way. So let's jump right into it. I'll just kind of read off the names here for you. We got Jalen Phillips and Azeez Ojulari at edge. At tight end, we got Pat Freiermuth and Brevin Jordan. At offensive line, we have Creed Humphrey and Landon Dickerson. At safety, we have Trevon Morig and Richie Grant. At defensive line, Christian Barmore and Ali McNeil. Wide receivers are Rashad Bateman and Terrace Marshall. And then out of the 2 wild card categories, the first one we had Tevin Jenkins and Alex Leatherwood. And the second one we had Joe Tryon and Elijah Moore.
It's a solid group. Very solid group.
It certainly is. It's going to be kind of tough, I think. How do you want to start? Do you want to start with the lower seeds or the higher seeds?
Let's start with the lower seeds. I think that would be a fun activity.
So
the wild cards have to be seeded the lowest because that is the nature of the game.
Okay.
Of all games.
So we got Jenkins, Leatherwood, Tryon, and Elijah Moore.
I think Jenkins is the highest seed of the wild cards.
So he's a 7.
He's a 7 seed. Ooh, that's frisky right there.
Oh yeah.
Then I believe we should go with.
I kind of feel like Tryon is the other 7.
I think so too. That's what I was going to say. I was stuck between him and Elijah Moore, but I kind of want Elijah Moore to be a lower seed.
Yeah, I was
like,
thinking that too. I feel like you and I and like some of the other people that are maybe a little deeper in this stuff are starting to get hip to Elijah Moore, but I feel like for a lot of other people that are maybe listening or just maybe more casual, he's kind of slipped through the cracks up to this point, and they're still kind of, sort of getting hip to Elijah Moore. But I think he's going to be a strong 8 seed as well.
I think that people have kind of started to be like, he's too small. I think that was like people looked at his outstanding production. I think he set the all-time SEC receiving yards per game record this past season, and everyone was like, wow, Elijah Moore. And they're like, he's a slot guy, he's small. And then they've kind of started to discount him. And it's like you see De'Ami Brown sneaking into the 5th receiver spot, and people are really bullish on Terrace Marshall. And I feel like I feel like at one point Elijah Moore had a lot more buzz than Kadarius Toney, and Kadarius Toney got really quiet, and then it's like flipped. Now Toney's getting a lot of buzz again.
Yeah, kind of funny how the draft always works like that, where guys basically they just take turns like going in waves of like their popularity or whatever it might be, their Q rating. And if you catch the wave at the right time, then that might really help you, as it feels like it might be with Elijah Moore right now, but going to be an 8 seed here in the bracket.
And then that leaves Mr. Leatherwood.
Yeah, so he's going to be the other one. So we've got our 2 8s on each side are Alex Leatherwood and Elijah Moore. Our 2 7s, Tevin Jenkins and Joe Tryon. So left on the board, Bateman and Marshall, Barmore, McNeil, Morig and Grant, Creed, Humphrey, and Landon Dickerson, Pat Fryermuth, Brevin Jordan, Jalen Phillips, Azeez Ojulari. Who we looking at for the 6 seed?
Has to be Fryermuth. I think both the tight ends are probably 6 seeds.
Yeah, that's a good call, I think. Not really a position of need, both good players, but yeah.
Fryermuth has taken a dip in the media buzz as well. I think he had like a really stellar buzz going like entering last year, and then people started to watch the games and they're like, yeah, he's solid all around, but Kyle Pitts has really overshadowed him, and it's a weird tight end year. But yeah, and then Brevin Jordan, just Mr. like tweener big receiver, can block a little bit.
Yeah, it kind of feels like not a great tight end class, and to the point where people were maybe talking themselves into a guy like Fryermuth or even Jordan to some extent as dudes. It kind of reminds me of 2015 when like Max Williams was looked at as this great prospect, but if you actually kind of peel back the layers, there was maybe some concerns.
No, I think Maxie was dope. I think he just had that terrible knee injury and had an unprecedented surgery and recovery. And he like at Minnesota, he was like hurdling dudes. Of course, the Ravens drafted him after they saw that. But he was pretty explosive. I feel like he went from like the explosive receiving type into the inline traditional kind of Y because of that knee injury. I think he had a pretty bad knee injury, but yeah, it was a pretty weird pick at the time for sure.
Yeah, I mean they needed a tight end, so I don't blame them. But we don't have to relitigate the Max Williams pick. So for the 5 seed left on the board, Jalen Phillips, Azeez Ojulari, Creed Humphrey, Landon Dickerson, Trevon Morig, Richie Grant, Christian Barmore, Aleem McNeil, Rashad Bateman, Terrace Marshall. I'm kind of looking at Richie Grant as maybe a fly in the ointment here for a 5 seed.
I think Grant and Aleem McNeil as well. Aleem McNeil is a nose tackle. He's, not going to be a 10-sack guy ever. He is a good pass rusher, but he's not that sexy. But the listeners of this podcast know how I feel about Godzilla, the big boy Godzilla, the middle of the defense. So I think, Grant and Aleem McNeil, those would be good 5 seeds.
Okay, so looking at our 4s, Jalen Phillips, Azeez Ojulari, Creed Humphrey, Landon Dickerson, Trevon Morig, Christian Barmore, Rashad Bateman, Terrace Marshall. This feels 4 is where it's starting to get a little tough. What do you think?
I think it's getting tough as well. I want to say Dickerson, medical concerns. And I want to say Terrace Marshall, also medical concerns coming out. Daniel Jeremiah, peeling back the onion, as you just said, regarding the combine, showing some leg and foot issues for Mr. Marshall.
They sound kind of serious.
Yeah, he said that, I think Daniel Jeremiah used the words medical concerns popped regarding his leg and foot. But at the same time, I'll play devil's advocate. We're not going to know what they are. And DK Metcalf had some pretty serious medical concerns as well. I feel like, maybe more serious than a leg or a foot. With Metcalf's worry was the neck, and a leg and a foot, those can be certainly debilitating, but a neck injury, once it is truly gone to the point of no return, it does exactly as I said and can't come back from. Ask Mr. Zach Orr, whose career was very unfortunately derailed from it. So let's go. Yeah, I like those guys, the 4 seeds.
And you're always telling me off air how much you love good neck too. So I could see how that would be a big concern for you. But wow. So moving down to
that was amazing.
That was good. You got to admit it. We're down to 3 seeds. We've got Rashad Bateman, Christian Barmore, Javon Morig, Creed Humphrey, Jalen Phillips, Aziz Ojulari.
I feel like we have to put Barmore as a 3 seed. I feel like that gives him a pretty good matchup as well.
Feels like he got a little far even too, which I kind of like.
I like a lot. And I want to say Ojulari, I think.
I was thinking that. I was thinking one of these edges is probably going to be a 3 seed.
Right.
Ojulari.
Yeah. And then we're getting to the real favorites here. So who we're not picking as 1. So that leaves us with Rashad Bateman, Creed Humphrey, Jalen Phillips, and who's the final?
It is going to be Trevon Morig.
Trevon Morig as well. So let's go Creed Humphrey. Creed is, I like putting him at a 2 seed. I think he can beat a 1. I think putting him against some weaker competition, I think he'll do well.
For me, it shakes out pretty obviously as Creed Humphrey and Jalen Phillips is the 2 seeds, and then Morig and Bateman is the 1 seeds.
I'm fine with that. I think Bateman and Morig are the kind of the darlings of the Ravens mock drafts, and both are great fits for things that they don't currently have on their roster, as well as talent, as well as production, as well as experience. I like both of them a lot. Morig has grown on me quite a bit. The more you watch him, the more you realize how truly in control of the deep middle he is when he plays it and what he can do in man coverage. So I like that a lot. And then we've got some strong 2 seeds. Jalen Phillips, realistically, we don't know the medical concerns. We'll hear. Ravens might not even come close to sniffing him. He might be of all of these players, he might be the first drafted.
He's a riser. Okay, so setting the bracket. So as far as the ones that we have, I don't want Rashad Bateman going up against Elijah Moore. I'd rather him go up against Alex Leatherwood.
Yeah, I like that. I like that for the purpose of the tournament, of the bracket for sure.
Yeah, I don't want the receivers. Okay, so Bateman, 1 seed, Leatherwood, 8.
Hopefully the receivers aren't tangling in the first round. I don't think any of them are.
Yeah, probably not. Our other 1 seed is going to be Morig, and the other 8 is going to be Elijah Moore.
That's a sneaky battle.
That really is. I feel like people like Morig, but people also really, really want a fucking receiver.
That's true.
Moore, 8. Okay. 2 versus 7. So here we have Tevin Jenkins and Joe Tryon, and Jalen Phillips and Creed Humphrey.
Whew. Wait, Jalen Phillips and Creed, that can't be a 2 versus a 7.
No, so it's Tevin Jenkins and Joe Tryon are the 7s. And
right. Oh,
yeah.
I misunderstood. Okay, so let's go Tevin Jenkins, Jalen Phillips, because I think that's a battle.
Yeah, that's actually really good.
That's a 5 versus an 11 seed, and the 11 seed is like a prestigious blue blood program in March Madness. That's a tough pick. That's a tough pick in the bracket.
That really makes me like the fact that we added those wild cards too.
Yes, for sure.
Phillips, 2, okay. And then that leaves
Creed Humphrey and Tryon.
Right. Okay.
And Tryon, that's a Creed Humphrey's probably going to blow him out of the water, but Tryon is such a sneaky good fit for the Ravens, it feels like.
Yeah, he definitely is, Creed. He's, one of these fan favorites. So the fact that he managed to grab a 2 seed there based off Morig, I think that's going to be big for him.
Very big for the program.
So at 3 seeds, we have Aziz Ojulari and who else did we have there? Christian Barmore versus the 6 seeds in Brevin Jordan and Pat Freiermuth.
Doesn't matter. Just cut them up.
Okay. So I'm going to go Ojulari versus Pat Freiermuth. 3, and Freiermuth the 6. And then Brevin Jordan is another 6 who is going to be going up against, who is the 3?
Barmore?
Christian Barmore. Okay.
Should go to the Barmore. That's going to be a sneaky. I feel like Ravens fans like Brevin Jordan like a preposterous amount.
They really do. I think he was a guy who had a lot of steam early on. He's kind of like one of the flashy pass catching options. People kind of look at him as just like a receiver light, I feel like. So maybe that's where he's, he might actually have a chance there, I feel like.
He shouldn't, but because of how Ravens fans feel about pass catchers, he will.
And need, I feel like, too, is,
There's a very strong cult following of the Ravens need a third tight end. That's
I would subscribe to that, but as far as like a high pick, maybe that might be a little bit of a tougher sell.
Right.
So that leaves the 4s and the 5s. So we have Terrace Marshall Jr. the 3rd, Landon Dickerson, both as 4s, and then 5s. We have Aleem McNeil and Richie Grant.
Let's go. So it was Terrace Marshall and Landon Dickerson of the 4s.
Yep.
Okay, so let's go Aleem McNeil versus Dickerson. And then that leaves Richie Grant and Terrace Marshall. And Dickerson and Marshall will both blow those out of the water. But Richie Grant would be the 2nd round pick. So we'll have to. We'll just let it be. We'll just let it.
Yeah,
be.
no, I mean not everyone was going to have a chance. Some of these guys are just kind of cannon fodder. But
just consider where you think they might go, or where the Ravens would have to take them in your own personal opinion, and then that answers your questions.
Right. All right. So the bracket is set. We've got coming out of the Western bracket, top to bottom is Trevon Moehrig, a 1 seed versus Elijah Moore, an 8. We've got Aleem McNeil, a 5 seed versus Landon Dickerson, a 4. We have Brevin Jordan, a 6 seed versus Christian Barmore, a 3. We have Creed Humphrey, a 2 seed versus Joe Tryon, a 7. Out of the Eastern, we have Tevin Jenkins, a 7 versus Jalen Phillips, a 2. We have Terrace Marshall, a 4 seed versus Richie Grant, a 5. Aziz Ojulari, a 3rd, and Pat Freiermuth, a 6, and Alex Leatherwood, an 8 versus Rashad Bateman, a 1.
Wow, Rashad Bateman's going to go 97% on that one.
Yeah, I mean, so here's what we're going to do. We're going to go ahead and put together a bracket for you guys, the fans, to vote on, for us to discuss. I think we'll probably try to have that up before the next episode that we do, where we're going to be doing our own vote. And so we're going to be discussing it before we do that, and then it's going to be me, you, and Voss going through this thing and picking our own as well. So there's going to be 2 different winners, one voted on by the fans and one voted on by us. How's that sound?
That is fantastic. This has been quite a fun project. I'm glad that we worked our way through. We did skip the tackle episode a little bit. That one fell through the cracks, but there's been tons of good tackle talk on Twitter, on wherever it's a strong tackle class. So I feel like people are pretty knowledgeable.
We got some good tackle talk in on the OL episode, I think.
Actually, we probably did. We just didn't pick any tackles.
Because there was Jalen Mayfield that we talked about a lot of those guys.
We did. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, we did a whole O-line episode. You're right. But yeah, so we did even better than that. This has been a fun process, and I'm glad to see it come to the finale setup, the conclusion. We've got that season 5, episode 10 coming out, basically the series finale of the Baltimore Beatdown Big Board, the Beatdown Big Board, ladies and gentlemen. It's been a lot of fun doing this, and I'm excited to crack into it a little bit more and get some real decision-making goggles on, pretend like we're in the war room and having to realistically pick between these guys. Because basically it's as if, any of these 2 matchups you're at a certain draft pick, and those are the top 2 highest rated players you have on the Ravens board, hypothetically. And, going through it, pros and cons, age, where they'll be in 4 years, how they'll make an immediate impact, if they're helping a need right now or not, all kinds of stuff. Positional value, Vaz will get into that deeply when we reconvene with him and all that good stuff. So this is going to be good. I think this was a really fun exercise, and I think it was both a general and also deep dive at the same time somehow of looking at these classes and then looking at what the Ravens need And I think we kept it brief, but went in depth enough at the same time. So kudos to us. I think this was good.
Yeah, definitely. I want to thank you for your great work and insight on it. As always, it was really fun getting together and doing the in-person episode. So hopefully we can keep that going the more we move forward here. I know you like to get down and see the franchise whenever you can, but whenever you're in the area, feel free to pop on through here and we'll keep that momentum rolling whenever we can. If anyone was wondering, but yeah, it was a ton of fun. I want to thank everyone for engaging with it on social media, voting, and just kind of chopping up these prospects with us. I think it was maybe intended more as like a journey over destination thing, or it was really just a conduit to talk about all these prospects. But in the end, I think it wound up being both. It was both a fun journey and we're reaching a really fun destination here as we roll into draft week.
We absolutely are. And I would say there's a pretty high probability that one of those players ends up on the Baltimore Ravens. I think I would be a little surprised. I wouldn't be shocked, but I'd be a little surprised if none of those 16 gentlemen are rocking the purple and black in 2021.
Yep, definitely. Okay, bud. 20 minutes running here. We got another 20 minutes to go with this interview coming up. Anything else for the people before we get out of here for the weekend?
No, I'm trying to get into my big 3 articles that I have in mind ahead of the draft. We will be bringing you, the breaking news, the picks, and what's going on with everything next week as well. So we'll be mixing it up, chopping it up, probably getting really drunk at some point, and
we doing
getting
a live
into these prospects. Yeah, we'll probably live stream.
Okay, that sounds like a plan then.
We'll probably live stream. I like what we did last year. We had fun last year.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. We can hopefully do that again in some form, and that's going to be good. And I guess on Wednesday we can go ahead and plan to do just a mega preview type thing. So I'll maybe start putting together a run sheet type deal for that. But on Monday, obviously we're going to have our episode with the bracket. So we got a content bonanza coming this week. We're probably going to be doing reaction pods for each pick as they come in. So we're strapping in for a work week here, but it's going to be a fun one.
I will have a nice new laptop tomorrow, so we will have better sound quality as well. And we'll talk to you guys on the other side.
We certainly will. I want to thank everyone for tuning in this week. Hope you guys have yourselves a great weekend. Go ahead and follow the show on social media if you're not already. It's at Podcast Beatdown on Twitter. You can find me at Jake Luke. That's Louque. Spencer is at Ravens4Dummies. That's the number 4. And follow the big site at Be More Beatdown. Also, go ahead and leave us a review on iTunes and a 5-star rating. Follow us on YouTube and subscribe. Leave us a comment, whatever on there. Appreciate you guys. As always, have yourselves a tremendous weekend, and we will talk to you again very soon.
See ya.
Arrivederci. All right, we now welcome on a very special guest. It's Ravens cornerback Anthony Averett. Thanks for joining us, man.
Yeah, hey, glad to be here. Glad to join with you guys.
Yeah, definitely. So you're jumping on here with a new foundation that you're starting up, and I first wanted to give you a chance to talk about that before we get going here.
Yeah, I'm just getting my foundation name and everything started right now. But for all that, I've been just giving back to a lot of my community and my school and just things around the area. So I'm just getting started.
Yeah, definitely. So we're really curious to start you off about what your off season is looking like so far and how it kind of compares to last year's COVID off season. I imagine it's maybe a little bit different so far.
Oh yeah, it's a big difference, a very, very big difference. I mean, you have a lot more freedom just to go out and just do little things. But as far as working out, we get to go to our own facilities and work, still get our private workouts in. But definitely a big difference. It's not in a deeper in the pandemic as we was last year around this time.
Yeah, definitely. What would you say are maybe 3 things that are especially different for you as far as staying shape during the season versus a time of the year like April when there's no season really going on?
During the season, of course you have a lot more time, but I think it is, it's not as bad, especially now. I'll just say, I don't think it's really a big difference. I can say that. I think it's not really much of a big difference between, last year and this year when it comes to the off season, when it comes to the time. We're still here, going to the facilities and, getting the proper workouts in. But we have more time. You can see our family a lot more. I will say that. And just, staying safe, and I'm actually about to get vaccinated very soon. So, that's a positive too.
Yeah, definitely. And speaking of the season, you guys had a little bit of a wild one in there in 2020, and you actually bounced back and forth on the roster due to some injury issues. Where would you rank 2020 as far as personal success for you in comparison to the other 2 seasons you've played so far?
Oh, yeah. Well, yeah, I think last year was definitely more than my way. It probably was the best season by by far, even though with the injury. I know I was playing at a high level even before the injury in the beginning of the season. Then I got hurt Eagles game, and I came back the Cowboys game that night, and I'm playing a whole lot of snaps. And until then, I mean, I've been starting for a few games, and I think one game in the playoff, I played just a little bit. So, but I mean, I played very well, stepped up for my team. So, like, I'm just, just making myself more valuable and, to the team.
Right. And even though you're still so young, it kind of weirdly feels like you've been around for a while. And I think that might have to do with the fact that you played for such a big college program. How would you, so far compare your experiences in the pros playing for a guy like John Harbaugh versus playing for Nick Saban down at Bama?
Mm-hmm. Oh, well, yeah, they're actually very similar. I mean, we definitely practice hard. He's definitely I wouldn't say he's an old school guy, but, he has like old school habits, and we grind it out, practice hard. And they're pretty much perfectionists too, especially when it comes to special teams and little things with details, things like that. So they're kind of similar.
Yeah, right. And the system at Bama actually relied heavily on a lot of press man principles. So were you hoping to sort of land somewhere with a similar system to that? And do you think that really helped you when you ultimately wound up in Baltimore where you're doing some of the same stuff?
Oh, yeah, definitely. Yeah, most definitely. Yeah. A lot of press man, a lot of man-to-man. That's exactly what I was doing at Alabama, like what you said. So being comfortable, I got comfortable very quickly here. And just the family, too. I mean, I feel like it's very family-oriented with the Ravens. So, and it was like that with Alabama. So, I mean, I definitely felt like I was home in the right place to be.
Yeah, they definitely are. That's a good point there. And your 2018 draft class actually had a lot of really strong players in it. You got guys like Lamar, Orlando Brown, Mark Andrews, Hayden Hurst. They kind of all come in and make immediate impacts there. Was that kind of tough to watch them do that while you were struggling with injuries that same season, or were you just kind of focused on your rehab?
No, I'm just focused on my rehab. I mean, I was glad those guys. I mean, I wasn't surprised either. I mean, our class was really pretty talented, even though we had a lot of people, they let go or they got traded and things like that. But as you can see, we're very talented, and, hopefully we, a lot of us last year got contracts this year, but a lot of us, we just want to go out with a bang with this year too as well.
Yeah, definitely. And looking back on your first two seasons there as a pro, 18 and 19, you saw some action. You started a handful of games. As a fourth-round pick, was there a specific moment where you all of a sudden felt ready to be a pro, or was it just kind of a gradual learning process over that period?
I don't think I have one actual moment that I can pick, but definitely, yeah, like what you said, it was pretty much just gradually. I mean, the more I was on the field, the more comfortable I got. So, I feel like as I can see this year, I feel like me and my family we all saw that I was very comfortable this year, being my third year. So the more experience and the more time I'm out there, the better I am. So that's why I think last year was one of my best, probably the best year I had so far.
Yeah, definitely. And this past year in 2020, you kind of touched on it there. That was a crazy one for a lot of reasons. I think not the least of which was that you guys lose a star player in the secondary literally right before the start of the season. And you don't have to say anything specific about Earl that it gets you in trouble, but what was it like to all of a sudden have to rally around a guy like Deshaun to come in and replace him at safety a week or two before the season kicks off?
Well, me personally, I mean, it wasn't a big deal when it came to when Deshaun stepping up. We all counted on him. We all was confident in Deshaun. So, and plus when I came in, we were roommates, so we already kind of had a bond coming in the same class. So I was ready, ready for Deshaun to lead anyway. So it wasn't really a big deal when it came to that. We wasn't surprised that, that he was able to lead things like that. So it was definitely, he played well this year. So, it's definitely positive.
Yeah, definitely. And you guys got off to a really nice start as a team. Then you maybe start to struggle a little bit. And then on top of that, COVID hits your locker room mid-season. That was wild just to follow as a fan from my perspective. So I'm definitely curious about how crazy it was to be a part of the team when all that stuff was going down.
Yeah, it was very hectic. It was something that, I did never really experience, or I don't think anybody. So it was hectic for the coaches and the players as well. They had to figure out scheduling, and we had to figure out this. Because there were certain games we barely even practice. We practice once a week. I think the Steelers game, that second time we played the Steelers, I think we only practiced once or twice. And we didn't even wasn't even to be able to be, to go in the building. And there was just so many rules and regulations we had to follow. So it was definitely different, definitely hectic. Hopefully we don't have to deal with that this year.
Yeah, hopefully not at all. I don't know if you guys are going to be getting the vaccine or whatever it is, but I don't want to see that happen to you guys either.
Yeah.
But y'all, you fought some injuries that year too, or last year too. And, you get some really good playing time down the stretch in the regular season and into the playoffs. Did you feel nervous at all? Like, the defense suddenly needed you in, all those big games down the stretch. And how good did it kind of feel to come in and play well for that many weeks in a row?
Oh, well, it definitely felt good. And I don't know if I think I was just more anxious just because it's been a while since it's been a while. I haven't really been out, during the season, like ever for me, like that, not that long. So, I think the first time I've really broken a bone in my, in my area up here. So it was just different. It was a different feeling for me as, anyway. But as far as playing time and just playing well, I was just glad that my teammates and my coaches, they had confidence in me. So, it made it easy for me to go out there and be comfortable and just play my game. And I was comfortable. I just want to prove to everybody that I'm here to stay, and I'm just, here to stay. And just to give more value to the team and just keep balling, really.
Yeah, definitely. And we mentioned earlier you got drafted the same year as Lamar, and a storyline that kind of followed Lamar since he was a rookie, fair or not, was that he couldn't get it done in the playoffs. And you guys finally do it against the Titans thanks to your boy Marcus making a huge play there. Again, don't let me get you in trouble here, but how did it feel to kind of stomp on that logo, and what was it like in the locker room after with the guys?
No, it was great, man. It was a celebration. It was what you saw pretty much. We didn't really mean any type of disrespect, but those guys, they were on their logo early in the season. It was things that they started, and we just pretty much wanted to finish it pretty much. So, they blame Marcus for it, but we always be behind his back. So, we had his back. So it wasn't like a big, extreme event there for us.
Yeah, definitely. And as a fan, I can tell you, I'm glad you guys did, because that was pretty fucking awesome. But a couple more before we let you go here. The Ravens, you guys got a ton of good DBs there in the building. Who would you say is the best one of the group, and who would you say you've learned from the most in your career so far?
That's a tough one. To single out one of them, I can't single out just one of them. I can say a few guys, even guys that's not even here anymore. Like Brandon Carr, he was actually a veteran that I actually looked up to. When I first got there, he was one of the first ones. He kind of helped me out big time when I got there. Weddle too, those guys. When I first got, when I was a rookie, I'm talking when I was a rookie. So those guys, older guys, I can say. And now, Chuck, he's a professional. I kind of just look up and see what he does, because I feel like he's just a very professional. Ultimate professional, He just does everything right, and does everything the coaches ask for him, so things like that. So, yeah, those type of guys, I feel like, I pretty much look up to, and they help me out big time.
Yeah, it's a great group. And when you've got a room full of alpha dogs like that, you included, is there a line between competitiveness but also learning from each other that you guys have? I'm kind of curious about that dynamic between a bunch of guys at one position group that are all really good.
Mm-hmm. Well, one thing I will say about our position group, we have a lot of different personalities and different egos, but we kind of just leave the egos at the door. That's one thing Coach Wink, he pretty much preaches, as soon as a lot of guys come in here, we leave the egos at the door, and we just, learn, we try to win, just, play great defense. We have, the Baltimore Ravens, you always had a good defense, so that's one of the things we focus on, and our secondary, I think we're the best secondary in the deep secondary in the NFL. So by far, in my opinion, but definitely, having those guys at the backfield, and just along with just a defensive line and just a whole defense period in our scheme. We should be good for a very long time.
Yeah, I think I'd agree with you on that. And kind of speaking of that defense as a whole, we hear a lot about Wink Martindale as a potential head coaching candidate. I'm curious from your perspective, just what it's like to play for the guy.
Oh, yeah, I love Wink, and Wink loved me, man. We have a great relationship. He has a lot of confidence in me, and I got a lot of confidence in him. And he's great, man. He got a great personality. He's a player's coach for sure. He likes to, joke around with the players and stuff like that, and that's what you kind of want as a player. He keeps it fun. And he lets us like play a little bit, man. He lets us play loose and have fun with it. We're not up so tight out there, so it's fun playing with him. Since a lot of blitzes and things like that. Since a whole lot of things to happen, for us. But he's a great coach to play for.
Yeah, definitely. Another kind of out of left field one here, but you played well against DK Metcalf in college. You also held your own against some of the bigger receivers out there in the league when you got put into the lineup last year. What's your mindset when it comes to covering guys who are much bigger than you?
Oh, I keep it simple. I know they're not going to run past me. So, it's a lot of things I just try to get physical with them and just, stay in front of them, watch the back shoulder. And that's how I play those type of big guys, man. Because I know they're going to use their size. They're going to use, the strength, try to push off, things like that. And I was pretty familiar with Metcalf. I faced him in college once, and I faced him when he got the Seahawks, too. I would say sophomore year, but my second year when we played the Seahawks. So, I had my own against him again, too. So I was kind of familiar with him from college. I think that was one of the reasons why I stuck him, 2 years ago when we faced the Seahawks in the first place.
Yeah, so were you kind of lobbying to go up against him in that game?
Mm-hmm, yeah, I was familiar. Yeah, I was definitely familiar about it. So, yeah, exactly, yeah. It was a great receiver, great matchup, but I'm ready to play him.
For sure. You mentioned big egos earlier. You've been teammates with Marlon Humphrey at 2 different levels now. It seems like every year of his career, he's come out of his shell more and more. How would you compare Marlon as a teammate at Alabama versus Marlon as a teammate on the Ravens? Because he seems like he's a character.
Oh, yeah, he definitely talks a lot more now. And I feel like everybody that went to Alabama and see him now, he definitely talks more now. Hey, that's what happens. Hey, you just get older. I don't know. As he's getting older, he's changing things up. But he changes for the good, man. He's still a great teammate, great person. He's not like a different person, but he talks a lot more. And, hey, it's fun. I like this Marlon, though.
Yeah, definitely. And, playing corner like you guys do, it seems like the hardest job in football to me, and I think a lot of people think that. Is that something you'd agree with? And what's one thing you want fans to know about playing the position that they might not already know?
Oh, well, corner is you're right. It is the hardest position. I think you definitely have to be the most athletic. Outside of playing quarterback, I think corner is definitely, you have to know. Just one thing that people don't really realize, the receivers know where they're going. The corners, we don't know where they're going. We can watch film and do all this and that all we want, but it's a lot of reaction, a lot of fast twitch, and we got to run full speed, backpedaling. So it's kind of, things get difficult. But hey, that's that corner. I love to play. I didn't really start playing corner until I got to college, but it was a reason why I wanted to play corner. So it was fun, though.
Definitely. And lastly, what are some of your goals for 2021, either personally or as a player, if you don't mind sharing with us?
2021. One hell of a year. Win a Super Bowl, that's always the big goal, for the individual. Have the best defense, play the best defense, rank number 1 in almost every category, dominant, and just bring one home for Baltimore, man. That's number 1 for me. I just want to win, I came from Alabama, so I'm used to winning. I want to win, and that's what I'm about.
Yeah, you know what it takes, and our audience is going to like hearing that. But all right, buddy. Well, thanks a ton for your time. We hope you have a great and healthy season this coming fall. You want to plug your foundation one more time before you get out of here?
Oh, well, right now it's just Anthony Averett Foundation right now. And we're working on, getting a title and a picture for it and everything. And I'm just going to keep giving back and, keep going to it. That's all.
Cool, man. Well, best of luck with all that and with the football this coming fall, like I said. And you have yourself a great weekend here, okay?
All right. Thank you.
All right. Bye.
Gorlami.
Arrivederci.
Arrivederci. Arrivederci.
Arrivederci.